Hey, good afternoon, guys. Keith and Christy here with you at the lodge at Woolly Rock, Frank Phillips' lodge, and we're here to kind of tell you about a story that we found out after we went to print with our last issue.
That happens all the time.
That happens all the time. Every time that we put our magazine out, someone calls us or emails us and says, "You guys, I have a great story for you guys," and I'm like, "We've already went to print," so it kind of defeats the purpose. But we wanted to come to you guys and let you know about what happened out here on this front porch,
Right where we're sitting.
right where we're sitting, your great grandfather. And you know, we did a thing about outlaws in here, and Henry Wells was one of our notorious outlaws here in the area, and became really good friends with Frank Phillips, and spent a lot of time out here at Woolly Rock too. So Christy's going to kind of tell you how all this kind of comes together. We're going to tell you the story about her great grandfather and kind of what happened from that moment.
Okay, and I'm sure you're gonna help me.
I will.
Because I don't always tell the story straight. But goes something like this, and this is from my brother who had written about this years ago in 2006, and he was like, "Do you remember this story?" And I said, "No," so he sent this over. Anyway, Don Tyler, our great-grandfather, wrote about something that came across his mind after he had read that Henry Wells had passed away in 1963. And he goes on to tell that after seeing the death of Henry Wells, it brought about an incident that I remember as follows. Sometime in the early 1930s, when he and his wife were out here on this porch out here at Woolly Rock,
Frank and Jane invited them for dinner.
They had dinner with them, and then they came out on this porch and they were visiting, and then it was time for everybody to go home. And instead of Frank going in his limo that was here for him to take them home that way, he said, "Don, I want you to take me home."
Because you know, Frank never drove a car. He never drove a car ever. So, and then of course he said, "Don, can you take me home?" And then Jane took the limousine home, and so they left here at the lodge and went back down to Bartlesville Highway 123. It wasn't called Highway 123 back then, and
39 Hill.
39 Hill. So if you've ever
39
come to
Hill.
Woolly Rock, there's the big hill that comes up to Woolly Rock. So as they were going down that hill, there had been a truck that had engine stop.
Wedged across
yeah,
the road. It was wedged, and the lights were on. Or when the lights saw and hit that truck and saw that it was wedged, Frank panicked.
No, he flipped out.
And
He just flipped out.
And he said, "Go around. Do not stop. Go on the shoulder. Do what you have to do." And my great grandfather writes, which I did, even though I almost turned over the car.
Yeah.
And he said, "I didn't ask Frank to explain anything." But the next day, I went to L.E., his brother, and said, "You know, can you explain to me why he was so excited?" And he said he had a number of threatening kidnapping letters, which were similar to ones that had some kidnappings that had been going on in Oklahoma City.
Yeah.
And of course, that leads us back to Henry Wells, because he claimed that Henry Wells, who had befriended Frank Phillips, had claimed that he prevented the kidnapping of Charles Pretty Boy Floyd from kidnapping
Pretty
Frank
Boy.
Phillips. So that's how it all kind of tied in, which ties back into the magazine,
Yeah,
all the stories.
ties
and
back into the outlaw stories that we did. And I'm sitting here, and Christy's sitting here, exactly where her great-grandfather sat almost 80 years ago. And it's just fascinating to me that as we look out here at Clyde Lake,
so pretty.
that her great-grandfather was sitting right here. And so there's so much great history out here, not only at Woolly Rock, but just this whole area of Bartlesville and the surrounding areas, that we sometimes just don't get a chance to share everything in our magazine. I wish we had 200 pages that we could share this so much stories with you. But we just wanted to share this story because it's family, and we always want to put family first, and we just think that
And we got the letter. We actually got the letter. Thanks to my brother for one, Bill Woodard, and also the Dewey
Hotel.
The Dewey Hotel was able to locate it for us. And I'm going to take a screenshot of it, put it out on our Instagram so you can read it more closely, and of course find out more of these other stories in our last issue. And of course, Cal Thieves and Outlaws getting ready to come up, and just recall all those days and all the history there. So hope you guys come out to Woolly Rock, come see how pretty it is. And
thanks for joining us. Hey, go get your copy of our magazine. They're almost all gone, and we've got October coming up, but this is one of our best magazines we've ever put out, and we're just so happy you guys are enjoying it. So God bless and have a great day.